Hello everyone and welcome back to another Outriders video. Today I've got a techno build for you, and it's not just your standard DPS build. This build can DPS, it can do support, and it can also buff your teammates. It makes it a really good all-round build. But just before we get started, please be sure to hit this video with a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you're notified when I upload future Outriders videos. It would really help me out. And if you want, come and check me out over on Twitch, twitch.tv/DJTICKLE, where I could be streaming live using this build right now. With all that said, let's get on with the build. So I wanted to make a techno build that really did some kind of support. I wanted to look at using the legendary sets as well, because pretty much all of the builds for techno, if you want to do raw DPS, don't include any of the special legendary sets, unlike some of the other classes. So this is the build that I came up with. Now with this build, just so you know, I erred on the side of DPS more than anything else. And the reason for that was so that when you're solo, it's completely viable. And at the end of the video, if you check out the clips at the end, there's a full run of Colosseum. And there's a little clip as well of me using the Amber Vault in the first section to show how you can still do it with the Amber Vault solo as well, but how that plays a better role in a support situation. So first of all, my main weapon, we're going to go with the pre-order bonus gun. If you don't know how to get this, check out the links down below in my description. You can get one easy 90k plus. I've had some people get 97k, which is absolutely phenomenal. I experimented with a lot of options with guns when I was trying to make this build. And if I just have a quick scroll through here, you can see here, I thought the Absolute Zero might have been brilliant for this build. I've tried it with Killing Spree and the Gravedigger's Frenzy. I also tried it the other way around with Ultimate Freezing Bullets and Killing Spree. And just for absolute raw damage, this gun still came out on top. Now you might be a little bit confused about the mods, but just don't worry, they'll make sense later, because as you see here, I've got the Gravediggers for increasing critical damage, and I've got Ultimate Freezing Bullets on here. So, but you'll understand them more in just a second. With the Amber Vault, this is going to be more of a support gun if we're running it in a group. Killing Spree for the damage, it's just unmatched with damage, absolutely brilliant. And then Ultimate Freezing Bullets in the second slot. So we can use this one for support, and we can use this one for raw damage. Whatever you want for the pistol. I like Shadow Comet, it's a nice quick bit of damage, but anything you want here in this slot. Next we're going to get on to our legendary pieces, and we're going to be using the Borealis set. So the mask looks really cool. It comes with firepower, status power and long range damage. It would be great if it rolled close range damage as well as long range damage, but unfortunately it doesn't. Twins, it gives us 2 of the turrets, and 2 of them can be placed down before triggering the cooldown, which if you're solo is really good because it takes all the heat off you. You can just throw 2 of your turrets down and the enemies will go and hit them. It gives you plenty of time to get the job done. Second one I've gone with is Euthanizer in the mod slot. Deal 25% more damage to enemies afflicted with toxic, and we're always going to have our rounds on with this build as well. So really nice damage boost there. Second piece, we're going with the robe, again because it has base firepower as its first attribute. The hands and the feet with these sets come with max health, and we're not bothered about any kind of health. Survivability is not a problem, so we always want the first 3 pieces for the firepower. Status power and long range damage again. Icicle Storm, Cold Snap, killing enemies frozen by the skill, makes them explode, dealing 252k worth of damage in a 5-meter radius. This combined with Bone Shrapnel is insane. Everything just disappears. It's absolutely great if you're running, say, Boomtown or Colosseum where enemies are grouped up. It's absolutely brilliant. So I kept that on. Then I put Bloodlust on because it's just an insane boost to firepower. Definitely a go-to firepower mod. That's in the second slot. Third piece of the Borealis. Firepower, status power, long range damage again. Then I've gone with Radical Therapy for 15% more damage against toxic enemies. I've got Freezing Boost on there as default, which gives us 15% more damage to enemies that are frozen, because we've got 2 turrets out and we're going to be using Cold Snap as well. A lot of the time a lot of enemies are frozen, and we can play that strategically with bosses as well and get ourselves a little bit of extra damage. Now originally I did put the 25% mod on here instead of radical therapy for 25% more damage to enemies that are frozen, but because not everything is frozen 100% of the time, I found that I actually got more worth out of radical therapy because that's effective 24/7. That's just always on because our rounds are always on. We'll take a look at the set piece bonus now just before we move on. So we increase weapon damage on frozen enemies by 10%. Nice little extra boost there. But also crit damage is increased by 90% for all party members for 8 seconds after using Cold Snap. That's a really, really crazy boost. Now that all of a sudden you're going to think, actually now I understand why he was messing around with the guns before. Because I tried basically using like the freezing bullet mod, using the Embalmer's Rage, using Killing Spree, using Gravedigger's Frenzy. I tried mixing all of these mods together to kind of see what I would come up with more damage. But Bone Shrapnel and Killing Spree together are just too valuable. You'll always do bigger numbers with these, which is why I went with this. And then I went with the Amber Vault. So we get to keep Killing Spree because it's awesome. But we also then, we get some extra damage if we freeze the enemies using this gun. And we also do some crowd control as well because ultimate freezing bullets works every second. So you can literally spray around the battlefield and freeze everything up. As well as your turrets that are also going to be freezing. A lot of the battlefield that's frozen up and easily lets you get on top of any situation. And you've even got Cold Snap on top of that as well. So as far as CCing with this build goes, you've got everything under control. So there we go. They're the three main types of efficiencies for this build. So you can see that we can do a lot of damage. You can see that we can do some CC. And we're also buffing our team's damage with the set bonus from the Borealis. Gloves, a couple of options you've got here. I'll talk about the attributes first. I went with my standard Techno gloves, the bonus firepower, close range and long range. If you wanted to, you could take one of the close range or long range attributes off and go with cooldown reduction. Obviously you could stack 2 sets of cooldown reduction here and bring down the Cold Snap refresh rate, which could be pretty useful. I've just not got the parts to try that out yet, but you could obviously bring that down quite significantly because at the moment you can see it's on 20 seconds. If you could bring it down to closer to maybe 10-15 seconds, you're going to be buffing your teams a little bit more. So there's more options for you there. I would definitely take the close range, long range if running solo, but if you're going to run this in a group more often, I would perhaps look at putting close range damage in one of them slots. Crit stack, really good, goes hand in hand as well with the set bonus. And Toxic Lead is how we're going to be getting our bullets back. But if you have problems with Toxic Lead in a group, you might want to switch that to Trick Up the Sleeve. Pretty easily done. Boots, as you can see again, bonus firepower, close range, long range. Then we're running Sharp Eye and Emergency Stance. Emergency Stance is bugged right now. It gives you an absolute load of survivability that it shouldn't do. But obviously what I would look at doing after that is fixed is switching that to Damage Absorber. That's my favourite one after Emergency Stance. Or you could just keep Emergency Stance on. It's only got a 10-second cooldown, so it is still really good. Skills, we're going to obviously want the Blighted Rounds. We want the Cryo Turrets. We're going to be using 2 of them. And then Cold Snap. Like I said before, the turrets you never really run out of. I just try and space them out. I throw one and then a few seconds later I throw another one. But with Cold Snap, if you could bring that down in group play, it's going to be way better for crowd control. And you're also going to get that crit damage buff from the Borealis set as well. So really nice. Flash tree, I did change a couple of things around here from the regular DPS build. So usually we would have this node on and usually we would have this node on. Because we are using our bullets pretty much on at all the time, apart from at checkpoints and expeditions, I thought I could sacrifice this node for some extra cooldown. And what I did, I went down here, we got 10% extra max health, which we're not really that bothered about. But as you can see here, we got 15% extra cooldown reduction on Cold Snap and on our turrets as well. So I thought it was definitely worth having that available 24/7 rather than just having that available at beginning of sections for only 10 seconds. And definitely worth replacing that because Anomaly power doesn't really do much for us. Everything else though is pretty much standard. I'll leave that up for a second just so you can grab a screenshot if you need to, and you can just follow it like by like. Just a couple of things to take a note. I took the assault damage mods here because I'm using assault guns, but obviously if you weren't using the same guns as me, consider taking the sniper ones instead. And if you have a look, there are my stats. So you'll quite easily still do 800k crits with this build. Obviously, you can do over 1 million with the full DPS build, which I'll link down below. But the fact you're still doing 800k critical hits, you're still able to solo a CT15 really easily. You're able to buff your team, and you're able to do crowd control. Really does, to me, make this build really, really good. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know if you built one similar. I would be great to hear that. Don't forget, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and hit the bell so you are notified when I upload more Outriders videos. And come over and check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/DJTICKLE. I'm probably live playing right now. I'll leave you with the gameplay. The first section is just literally a quick 2 minutes of me using the Amber Vault on the first section of Coliseum, so you can see how well it does the crowd control, and then it'll flip over to a full run of me using the pre-order rifle and all the way to the end. I think it's about 7 minutes for the entire run, which obviously is not the fastest, but it's really easy because of how good the crowd control is. You can literally switch off and just run these over and over and over again with no real worries because it is just so easy. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Who the hell are you? Now they think I'm falling for this painfully obvious trap. What a bunch of clowns. Creatures. Did that feral maniac capture them for good? I think that's the last of the monsters, but that maniac isn't too happy. Here we go. Not a bad shot. Maybe he'll finally shut up now. The pot is ours.